This is the Maverick Power Play. I'm your host, Phil Lemen. All things UNO Hockey, all for you.
Maverick.
All right, welcome to episode 3 of the Maverick Power Play. I'm pleased to be joined by Dave Ahlers, the Assistant Athletic Director of Communication. Dave, thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Can you kind of talk about your journey with UNO and what are your roles?
Well, this is my 10th year with UNO in this role as Assistant Athletic Director for Communications, and my 9th year covering UNO Hockey. When I first started back in 2008, we were a Division II athletic program with a Division I hockey team, and obviously we are now a fully fledged Division I program and having success across a good number of our sports, as we just saw this past weekend with men's soccer. So it's been quite a journey in the last 9.5 years, and looking forward to seeing what the future brings us.
So what's your favorite part of your job?
You know, I think the favorite part of my job is getting a chance to both work with our coaches and get to know our student athletes. You know, we have a lot of very motivated people here, people who are motivated to excel, and I think that rubs off on us as a communication staff. You know, we work for our teams. We want to do the best for our teams. So I've been in athletic communications for a good long time, and it never ceases to amaze me how much I learn from the athletes and the coaches, and how much of that stuff you can apply to your own career and your life. So that I think is the best part about what we do.
You worked for a couple AHL teams in the past. Can you kind of talk about how the Omaha community has changed since Big Starman Knights left, kind of putting UNO Hockey in the spotlight?
Well, you know, it was interesting when the Knights came here in 2005. That's actually what brought me to Omaha. It was kind of a crowded hockey market when that team came in, and I think that when the Calgary Flames decided to place their top development team here, I don't think they really considered that and how much loyalty there was to UNO Hockey, and certainly the Lancers as well. And I think that made it very difficult for them to succeed. That and the fact that Omaha is very much, and continues to this day to be very much an amateur sports town, loves its college athletics, and I don't think that's changed at all. I think Omaha just offers so many opportunities for anybody who's a sports fan to see some great competition. As we're recording this interview, we've got the curling trials going on down at Baxter Arena, which is just another one of those events that Omaha really seems to attract and be a good place to bring those sorts of events. So I don't know that Omaha has changed only to further make itself more of that mecca for college and amateur sports. And I think for UNO, I think probably the 2 years that the Knights were here, it was a little difficult from a competition standpoint. I think there were certainly hockey fans that may have sampled the Knights, and that may have cut into things a little bit. But I think since the Knights have left, and certainly as we've gone through maybe the last 10 years, you've seen changes in coaching, changes in leagues that we've been in, and I think that's done a lot, particularly our league affiliations, to really strengthen where UNO stands, in Omaha.
What's it like working behind the mic for UNO Hockey alongside Terry Leahy, and what got you into play-by-play?
Terry and I have a great time. We look at each other every once in a while. We just can't believe that we get paid to do what we do. Our goal when we go out there is to try to enhance the enjoyment of the game for whoever might be listening, and that's really the way we approach it. As I've always said, we take what we do seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We try to have fun doing what we do, and hopefully that shows in the broadcast that we put out there. my interest in play-by-play started when I was 10 years old. When I was growing up just outside of Portland, Maine, we got the Philadelphia Flyers' top development team in the American Hockey League, at that time the Maine Mariners. And at that time, the broadcaster that they put in place was a very young Mike Emmerich, who had a great influence on me just in listening to him. Again, one of those guys who really enhanced the game for me, was very exciting to listen to, made me want to get into play-by-play. And when I got my first experience, or first opportunity, I guess, was in college. Kind of jumped at it and just sort of kind of took off from there. So in one way or another, since starting to play youth hockey, I guess at the age of 5, I've had the good fortune of being involved in hockey at some level, in all that time.
And finally, can you kind of talk about the new head coach, Mike Gavin, talk about how you think he's doing in his first season, and can you talk about how the team's doing, and if you have a favorite player this year that you think is going to perform the best?
Mike is he's such a student of the game, and that's what really, I think, impressed all of us when he got here last year as an associate head coach, was how much he really studies the game, its nuances. Some might call him a hockey nerd, but he really digs into the small aspects of the game. And I think in a conference as competitive as ours, it really comes down to those details. If you can follow through on the details, that's where you're going to be successful. And I think that's what he's trying to teach the guys right now. Obviously, his first year as a head coach here, running his own program, he's got players who, in the case of our seniors, played for a guy with a different style in Dean Blaze the last 3 years. So I think there's a constant education process, but he's put together a good staff with Dave Bernier and Peter Menino. And of course, as an alumnus of the program, I think Mike and Dave in particular really have a vested interest in seeing Maverick hockey continue to succeed. So, I think we've played now 8 games. It's not a lot. Some teams have played as many as 12. It's a pretty small sample size. I'd say that where we are at this point in time, heading into a weekend series at Western Michigan, I'd say the signs are promising, but there are still some of those details that need to be worked out to help us, hopefully come into a weekend series and get a sweep, which we've yet to be able to do. We've got so many good players on our roster, and I think you look at our seniors and the leadership that they've given us so far, I think those are going to be the key guys, clearly. But we've got some juniors who I think can really mature into that kind of a role this year. They go from being sophomores last year. When you get to that junior year, you start to take even more ownership because, you're one of the older guys now. And before, when you're a sophomore, you've got a junior and senior class who are leading things. But now, we've got our seniors who are a good group of guys. Our juniors are really taking a greater ownership in what happens with the team. And it'd be hard to pick out a particular guy. I mean, everybody brings a little something different to the table, but I don't know that I have a favorite. I enjoy watching them work together as a team, and hopefully we will continue to do some great things.
I'm going to add one more final question. It's kind of a two-part one. What's your favorite moment from working with UNO Hockey, and why do you think it's so popular here in Omaha?
Well, my favorite moment, I think it would have to be the run that we went on in 2015 to get to the Frozen Four. It was a lot of fun for me, with the Frozen Four being in Boston, getting a chance to get back to New England, where I'm from. But just a terrific run we went on, and being able to win the 2 games in Notre Dame at the Midwest Regional. We got contributions throughout the lineup, and I just remember our freshmen playing a big role, freshmen who are now seniors this year, guys like Tyler Vessel and Jake Randolph and David Pope and Grant Gallo, and then some of those seniors. I remember Dominic Zombo, who was our captain, was playing injured, and the poor guy was basically playing on one leg and just giving his heart and soul to the whole thing. And Ryan Massa, what a terrific run he had to help us get to the Frozen Four. It's always interesting to me how you can see a player play at a certain level and then raise that level up even more. And I think Ryan really did that for us. And then to play on a big stage like that in the Frozen Four, being as involved with it as I am, knowing how much it means to not only the folks on the team, but also to our athletic department, getting a chance to play at that level. That's been I think the highlight for me in the 9+ years that I've been working with the team, and hopefully we've got more highlights like that here in the future.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Well, thanks for having me.
You've just been a part of the Maverick Power Play with me, Phil Lemen. Thank you so much for listening, and hope you tune in next time.